Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm delighted to have you all here. Today, we'll be discussing HPLC audit trails, focusing on regulatory requirements and practical approaches. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and I look forward to guiding you through this important topic. Over the next few slides, we'll explore what you need to know to ensure compliance and improve your laboratory practices. Let's get started. Let's start with the definition of an audit trail. An audit trail is a secure, computer-generated, and time-stamped electronic record that allows us to reconstruct the entire course of events related to the creation, modification, or deletion of electronic data. Essentially, it records who made changes, what changes were made when they happened, and why those changes occurred. Now, why do audit trails matter so much? Well, they help ensure data integrity, traceability, and accountability within our electronic records, especially in regulated environments like those overseen by the FDA, EMA, or WHO. They are critical for supporting compliance with GXP standards, including GMP, GLP, and GCP. Audit trails also play a key role in preventing unauthorized data changes, supporting investigations when discrepancies arise, and aiding in batch release decisions. They're not just about meeting regulatory requirements, they're about maintaining trust and confidence in our data. When it comes to HPLC systems, regulatory requirements for audit trails are particularly important. We need practical approaches to implement and manage these audit trails effectively, ensuring they meet both the legal standards and our operational needs. So, in summary, a robust audit trail is fundamental for regulatory compliance, data integrity, and operational confidence in our laboratory processes. Let's take a closer look at some key regulatory references that guide our approach to audit trails. First, we have the FDA 21 CFR Part 11, which specifically addresses electronic records and signatures. It emphasizes that audit trails must be secure, automatically generated, and time-stamped to ensure data integrity. Additionally, user actions such as creating, modifying, or deleting records need to be independently recorded to maintain transparency. Importantly, these trails are non-editable and must be retained for the same duration as the data itself. Moving on to the EU GMP Annex 11, it highlights that audit trail functionality should be incorporated into system design, and this should be based on a thorough risk assessment. It's also essential to record the reasons behind any data changes or deletions, providing context and traceability. Furthermore, these trails should be convertible into a readable format and regularly reviewed to ensure ongoing compliance and data integrity. Lastly, the MHRA and WHO guidelines reinforce the importance of audit trails and periodic review processes. Overall, these regulations underline the critical role of audit trails in maintaining data integrity, ensuring compliance, and supporting quality in our systems. Connecting all these points, it's clear that a robust, well-designed audit trail system is fundamental to meeting regulatory expectations and safeguarding our data. Now, let's talk about what an HPLC system must capture for an effective audit trail. First, it's essential to record the username or operator who is performing the action. This helps us trace back to the individual responsible. Next, we need to log the date and timestamp of each activity, so we know exactly when each action took place. It's also crucial to record the type of action performed, whether it's a run, an edit, or a reprocessing of data. This helps us understand the context of each change. Additionally, we should capture both the original values and any changed values to keep a clear record of what was modified. Justification or the reason for each change is equally important, because understanding why a change was made ensures transparency and accountability. Lastly, we need to log system events like logins, logouts, or failed login attempts, as these are vital for security and troubleshooting. For example, if someone reintegrates chromatogram parameters, it's necessary to include a reason or justification for that change. This way, the audit trail remains comprehensive, transparent, and aligned with good laboratory practices, supporting the integrity of our data and overall system. Now let's take a closer look at the different types of audit trails. First up, we have the data audit trail. This one is all about tracking any changes made to test results and the method parameters used during testing. It's like a detailed history that helps us ensure data integrity and traceability. Next, there's the configuration audit trail. This records any modifications in system settings or the definitions of methods. Basically, it keeps track of how the system is configured and how that might have changed over time. Finally, we have the security audit trail, which logs login activities, changes to access rights, and even attempts to access the system illegally. This is crucial for maintaining security and ensuring only authorized personnel are accessing sensitive data. Together, these audit trails form a comprehensive system that supports transparency, accountability, and security. Key themes that tie into the overall goal of maintaining quality and compliance in our processes. Let's talk about the key procedures for effective HPLC audit trail management. First, it's crucial to enable the audit trail feature during the software installation. This ensures that all activities are automatically recorded right from the start. And it's important to remember that the audit trail must stay on at all times. There's no option for users to disable it, which helps maintain the integrity of the data. Next, controlling user access is vital. Assigning each user a unique ID with role-based privileges, whether they're an analyst, reviewer, or admin, helps us manage who can do what within the system. This also prevents shared logins and unauthorized access, which could compromise the data or the process. Finally, the system itself takes care of recording all activities automatically. This includes sample analysis, creating or modifying methods, reprocessing, reintegration, or deletions. Every entry logs who performed the action, what they did when they did it, and why, providing a comprehensive trail for accountability and compliance. Together, these steps form a robust framework for audit trail management, ensuring data integrity and regulatory compliance throughout your HPLC operations. Now, let's look at the review of the audit trail. It's essential to examine the audit trail alongside the chromatographic data to ensure everything aligns correctly. During this review, we need to verify that any changes made are justified, properly approved, and in full compliance with our standard operating procedures. Documenting our findings is a critical part of this process because it provides a clear record of what was reviewed and any actions taken. Moving on to QA oversight and retention, quality assurance plays a vital role by performing periodic reviews of the audit trail. This ongoing oversight helps maintain data integrity over time. Additionally, we must retain all audit trail records in accordance with our data retention policies. This ensures we have access to historical data if needed. If any discrepancies are identified during these reviews, it's important to investigate thoroughly and document the findings to maintain transparency and compliance. All of these steps are grounded in regulatory requirements, such as FDA 21 CFR Part 11, EU GMP Annex 11, and the ALCOA Plus principles. These regulations emphasize the importance of data integrity, security, and accountability. Lastly, this process is part of our ongoing management of HPLC audit trails, ensuring that our data remains trustworthy and compliant throughout its life cycle. Now, let's talk about enabling and validating audit trails. First, it's crucial to ensure that the audit trail feature is enabled right from the installation of the system and that it remains active throughout its life cycle. This helps maintain a continuous record of all activities. Next, as part of your computer system validation, specifically during operational qualification and performance qualification, you should validate that the audit trail is functioning correctly. This step confirms that the system reliably captures all necessary data. Additionally, configuring date and time synchronization is essential. Accurate timestamps ensure that every event is chronologically recorded, which is vital for traceability. Moving on to periodic review practices, it's important to regularly review audit trails according to your standard operating procedures, or SOPs. This can be done at set intervals, such as with each sample set or monthly. The goal is to catch any anomalies, things like unexplained changes or disabled audit trails, that might indicate issues or potential tampering. When reviewing, QA should thoroughly examine the audit trails to identify any irregularities. And of course, all findings need to be documented carefully, along with any follow-up actions taken. This ongoing review process is key to maintaining compliance and ensuring the integrity of your data over time. Let's take a look at case number 2, which involves a disabled audit trail. The key issue here is that the audit trail was turned off at the HPLC system for several months. This means that during that time, no records were kept to track any changes or activities on the system. The main consequence of this is that we cannot demonstrate data traceability, which is critical for regulatory compliance and ensuring data integrity. To address this, the action we need to take is to enable controls that prevent the disabling of the audit trail in the future. Additionally, performing a forensic review is essential to understand what may have happened during the period when the audit trail was turned off. Now, moving on to case number 1, which concerns a missing audit trail review. Here, the audit trails actually exist, but they were not reviewed regularly, and there was no documentation of any review process. This raises concerns about data integrity because without proper review, potential issues might go unnoticed, and it could lead to regulatory observations. The remedy for this situation is to implement a routine review process for audit trails. It's also important to document these reviews, including retrospective reviews if needed, and to ensure that QA staff are properly trained on this process. Both cases highlight how critical it is to maintain and review audit trails diligently, as they are fundamental to ensuring the integrity and traceability of our data across the entire quality system. Let's take a look at some common inspection findings that often come up. One of the key issues is disabled or non-validated audit trails. This means that the logs are either not maintained properly or haven't been verified for accuracy, which can really hinder accountability. Another frequent observation is the use of shared logins, where multiple users access the system with the same credentials. This makes it difficult to identify who actually performed specific actions, compromising traceability. We also see a lack of documentation when it comes to reviewing audit trails. Without proper records or procedures, it's hard to demonstrate that reviews are being conducted thoroughly and consistently. Finally, allowing admins to modify audit trails is a concern. Permitting these modifications can undermine the integrity of the logs, making it easier to conceal unauthorized or inappropriate activities. Overall, these findings highlight the importance of maintaining robust, validated, and unalterable audit trails to ensure compliance and security. They tie directly into our broader theme of strengthening controls and accountability within our systems. Let's talk about some best practices to ensure our data integrity and compliance. First, it's crucial to maintain immutable, non-editable trails. This means once data is recorded, it can't be altered or erased, ensuring a trustworthy record. Next, we should develop comprehensive standard operating procedures, or SOPs, that are clear and thorough for review and retention. These SOPs serve as a solid foundation for consistent practices across the board. It's also important to link our trails directly to the data lifecycle, following the ALCOA plus principles: attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, and complete. This alignment helps us maintain data quality from creation to archival. Finally, integrating the review process into the batch release workflow ensures that data is scrutinized regularly and systematically, reducing risks and supporting compliance. By following these best practices, we're not just safeguarding data, but also reinforcing the overall integrity of our processes, which aligns perfectly with our goal of delivering high-quality, compliant products. So, to wrap things up, let's talk about the importance of audit trails. They are actually a regulatory requirement for HPLC systems across the globe. This means that maintaining a detailed record of all activities and data is not just good practice, but a legal necessity. These audit trails are crucial because they help ensure data integrity, which is fundamental for reliable results. They also support compliance with regulatory standards and provide traceability, so you can follow the data back to its origin if needed. To achieve and maintain this level of compliance, it's essential to regularly activate the audit trail functions, validate that they are working correctly, review the records periodically, and document everything thoroughly. These steps are the keys to staying compliant and ensuring the integrity of your data over time. Remember, consistent attention to these practices not only helps meet regulatory requirements, but also builds confidence in your analytical processes. For further support, please contact us. We're here to help answer any questions or provide additional information you might need. Don't hesitate to reach out. Your success is our priority. Thank you so much for your attention and participation today.